That was an excellent film. I certainly believe in freedom of speech for individuals, whether it was Skokie or the Republican convention in New York City. But there's an abomination of free speech, which is that corporations have a right of free speech. And corporations are not human beings. They're very powerful organizations. And their free speech even includes campaign contributions, which are, in my own view, bribes. And you cannot, even when there are laws against campaign contributions, the courts rule, well, they have a right to exercise their freedom of speech. And to me, that this corporations having all the rights of a human being is an abomination.
So we'll turn that comment into a question. Did you think about, as you and Liz and your team made the film, did you think about expanding the issue of free speech to include the corporate issues?
Well, the First Amendment, and I don't want to pretend, usually we have Marty up here, I don't want to pretend I'm a lawyer or I know exactly what I'm talking about, but I'm pretty sure that the First Amendment actually specifically deals with, excuse me, government action. So it's not like, that's why school gets complicated, and it's not like in a family, you can't say, I'm using my First Amendment right when you're, bad, you're just having an argument. It's all specifically has to do with what government, like control of speech. And I think commercial speech also has a whole other set of laws, and I'm not sure if it falls strictly into the First Amendment, purview. But yes, I mean, obviously, campaign financing is a very interesting issue because, for example, Floyd Abrams and Kenneth Starr worked very much together in trying to promote, to not limit campaign financing in the name of free speech. And one could argue that, as you see, campaign financing can come many ways, right? From the last election, we saw that Obama had, President Obama had, a great deal of financing from grassroots organizations and from, you and I, and that's one form of campaign financing, and of course there are, so I don't know if it's as simple, you can't certainly say, well, Coca-Cola can't contribute, but an individual, I guess the short answer is I don't totally know, but I see the problems.
And if you are interested in some of these issues, not so much the corporate free speech issues, but corporate malfeasance issues, I recommend you to see the film in our Real Change series called The Yes Men Fix the World. If you didn't have a chance to see it the other day, you might find a set of critiques that is in keeping with your point of view. Next question up there.
Thank you. I'm with the Agape Foundation, and we were very honored to sponsor this film. I want to thank you. I thought it was excellent.
Thank you.
I have two questions. One is with regard to the editing. I thought you did a masterful job of editing, and I can't imagine how much footage you must have had to edit down. I'm curious about your editing process, and I'm curious about how you obtained the historical footage that you did. And then my second question is, I'm just curious about the role, if any, of Liz's mother in the making of the film, and kind of through the history of her growing up, what involvement might she have had?
Sure. So the first question, in terms of footage, that's a very funny question because I'm the editor and say I want every frame of every McCarthy hearing there is, and it's definitely, that's the fun part to me. I get to sort of reshape not so much history, but how we look at history, and there was one of the things that we felt very much in this film is because how the media present news or are all part of the issue, so it wasn't like I'm just trying to present this historical event. It was, we were presenting, you know, how the media or the press was shaping these events. And, you know, it's just going through a lot of them. Some of it definitely an aesthetic choice. You know, we consciously put in a lot of the film leader, and just the more like outtake sort of style to show that this is news and not just facts. And and then the second question, you know, we called Liz's mom several times. Do you have a picture of the Woodstock house? And you know, she was definitely part of the dialogue at the dining table, but you know, it was mostly about her dad's work. That is true, and so.
Just a quick follow-up on the footage question. At what point did HBO come into the picture? Because I would imagine that with Deeper Pockets, you actually had the chance to, if they were in early enough, you actually could figure you had a decent archival footage budget, as opposed to just kind of hoping against hope that you could afford what you wanted.
HBO was with us, right, and living in it. So, yes, and the budget was definitely, you know, a large chunk was carved out for the archival. I mean, you know, the historical stuff, as hard as it is, it's sort of actually freer, well, not freer, cheaper than, you know, it's the hardest part is getting like the 2004 convention stuff where, you know, the whole issue with, on, you know, what do you call it, the anchor's voice and all these on-screen personality, and getting, you know, Glenn Beck to agree to let us use, which he didn't, but, and that sort of thing.